Hi there, it's Sandra, and you are listening to the podcast A Duchess Like Us. Hello and welcome to episode 14 of A Duchess Like Us, a podcast that reports positively and fairly on Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. Well, hello everybody. We're back. It's been such a long time since the last episode of the podcast, but you know what? It's really, really good to be back. So before we start, I just hope that everyone is well and have been safe during these last few eventful and stressful months. And I hope that everyone is just basically okay. And yeah, they're just feeling good and safe and they've survived the worst of it. All right. So today I'm joined by my co-host for this episode of the podcast. So ladies, would you like to introduce yourselves?
The bitch is back. It's Nelly from over Hadrian's Wall. I'm still repping for the former royals, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. And yeah, I missed you guys. You might have heard me a few times on Sussex One podcast, but yeah, we're back and ready to wreck shit.
And as usual, I'm here as the voice of reason and calm. Yes, it's me, Gayle, at Breakthrough Diva. Oh, do you know what? I have so missed you guys. Honestly, it's been way too long. And of course, we have got a whole lot to say about what is going on, because I'm still here flying the flag for my girl and her lovely husband. Yeah, I'm all about the
and little Archie.
Still. Oh, and of course, our little baby Archie.
Okay. He's so sweet. Okay, anyway, let's get started. Woohoo! So, well, 2020 has been an unbelievable year so far. The last few months have been especially surreal. We've all been physically isolated from family and friends. And if we've been lucky, we've been able to meet and talk virtually. But it's not the same. It seems as if the whole world has just gone on a pause. Anyway, since the Sussexes stepped back from their royal duties at the end of March 2020, we haven't really heard much from them apart from updates about Meghan's lawsuits against newspapers in the UK, a few virtual speeches they've made, and a few sightings of them in LA until this week and the release of that new book. So today, in this episode of the podcast, we're going to go over a few topics. The first one being the new royal book by Omid, Scobie and Carolyn Durand called Finding Freedom, Harry and Meghan and the Making of a Modern Royal Family. And our second topic is Meghan's work and stroke legacy in respect to her work with the royal family and her charities and patronages. And what's next for these patronages and charities and Meghan herself now that she's based in the US. So let's start with our first topic, and that is the new royal book by Omid, Scobie and Carolyn Durand. So if anyone didn't know, there's a new book out about Meghan and Harry that's going to be published on, I think it's the 11th of August 2020. Excerpts of the book have been serialised through the Sunday Times and the Times this week. Now, before the serialisation began, Meghan and Harry released a statement where they stated that they were not interviewed for the book and have had no involvement in the writing of the book. But that didn't make any difference to the UK press. They simply lost their damn minds. I have never seen anything like it. They, the UK press, came out guns a-blazing. They've launched a major smear campaign, the likes of which I've never seen before, but not against the authors. They've done it against Meghan and Harry. And from the excerpts that I've seen, there's nothing in this book that we, the Sussex Squad, have not been saying for months or even years. So, ladies, what do you think about what you've read from the excerpts of this book? And what do you think of the furore around this book?
Okay.
Hey,
as you can tell, we are all both chomping at the bit here.
Okay.
I'll be calm about this, and then I'll let Gayle let rip, because I think she's a lot more, in it, more angry than I am. But no, this was to be expected of how they were going to carry on. You knew that it was going to be like that from the off, because first of all, the way that they had characterized the authors of the book, Carolyn, Durand and Omid Scobie, by calling them royal watchers, then royal journalists, which is a damn insult. Royal watchers are the idiots that you see online, who are the card-carrying monarchists and all of that. No, Omid Scobie and Carolyn Durand, they've earned their stripes as journalists. Omid especially. Omid has been taking a lot of flack. I think he's taking the bulk of the flack, that rather than Durand. I can't understand why the biracial Omid Scobie is getting harassed, but especially by the likes of Wallace Wotan and lots of other people. It really is. I mean, did he turn him down or something? Did he refuse a date or something? The way how he's been going in on him, it's gross.
That's
it's
true.
Flipping gross. But like you said it, Sandra, that this book sort of confirms everything that we've been saying from jump. And that the British monarchy are a bunch of fucking waste men. Every last one of them.
Yeah, can't deny it. There's no lie there.
From old Lizzie right down to Princess Schmeichel, or whatever she wants to be called. Bunch of walkless waste men. And of course all their little sycophants and their little minions that are supposed to be quote unquote serving them.
Nelly, remember you're doing the calm piece, okay?
You know what? Do you take it over now, because I'm gonna go off. Okay, I'm gonna mute myself out of this, and yeah. But no, that's all. Sorry. No, but it has confirmed everything that we've been saying. Of course, obviously, we have to take it with a pinch of salt, as we do with most royal books, because Lord knows we're not going to be reading fucking Lady Campbell, colon cancer's book and say, oh yeah, everything in that is factual. So and bear in mind that this is the only book that there has been many pieces. There's been a couple of books, as well as a couple of exposés about I don't even want to call it about their exit. But this is the one that people are going in after. And the only reason why they're going in after this one is because it is nuanced, while the other ones have been extremely anti Sussex. And you're thinking, oh, well, if anyone, I'm thinking to myself, oh, it's not like there's an agenda or anything. Yeah, there is. So, nah, man, fuck everyone. The monarchy, the British press, all of them, bunch of fucking wastemen, hell in a goddamn basket. Over to you, Gayle.
Right, so how do I follow that? Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to follow the same vein, because to be honest, it is an absolute travesty. It really is. But before I even go into it, we've got to check ourselves, okay, and not buy into this foolishness. And one of the things I'm going to check you, actually, Sandra, was you said in your opening, you said we've not heard anything from the Sussexes apart from apart until this week with the book. No, we still haven't heard from them. It's not their book, okay? And just
no. Let me clear that up. I said that the Sussexes released a statement saying that they were not interviewed and they had nothing to do with the book.
That's right.
My my issue is that basically we haven't heard anything from Sussexes. All
Nothing.
they've done is done their virtual speeches. They have updated their lawsuit thing, but we've got that third hand from the papers. We basically haven't heard anything from them.
We've heard nothing from them.
That's what I'm
at
saying.
all. Yeah.
So the only thing
is,
that we've heard from them is that the two speeches they made virtually. That was it. So it's nothing.
Right.
This book has nothing to do with them.
It's got
Omid and
to do with
Caroline.
them. But I have other issues with the book. Now, my thing, first and foremost, the journalists, the actual authors of the book, Omid, Scobie and Carolyn Durand. Okay, Carolyn, we know, has not been particularly pro-Meghan, but she's writing this book with Omid. So I expect it to be a bit of a yin and a yang. You get that? Because I wouldn't even say that Omid is particularly pro-Sussex. I just think he's a very fair, balanced royal reporter. The same way how he reports on Harry and Meghan, he reports on the other twos, do little and do even less. And then he's got, those two, the one with the chipolata fingers and his wife, so
God, yeah.
Right. So he's quite fair in his reporting, very, very fair. And that's the issue. That is the problem, because he is not a fully paid up member of the Rat Squad, right? Then that's the problem they have with him. So they want to paint him as being part of the Sussex Squad, as being Meghan's mouthpiece, because he happens to know some of the people that Meghan knows. I think Marcus, Meghan's friend from Soho House, they say he was Omid's boyfriend. Who knows? I don't think
that's true.
Well, true or not, I don't care. The fact is, Omid is not the only one who has, connections and friendships in the royal circle. With only this week, what did we see was released? Only this week we saw James Middleton's Instagram story with him and his dog, and who else? The other dog in his life.
Walkless.
Bloody Fanny Woodentop. So, really and truly, it's a nonsense. It's an absolute nonsense. However, I still have an issue with the authors, because this week, yes, they knew they were going to be serializing that book. Okay, they knew they've both been around the circuit for a long time. They know that the person that's going to get the most heat from that book is going to be Meghan. Even if they had said, look, Harry basically slapped the Queen around her face and said, yo, I'm out of here, it would still be Meghan's fault, right?
Of course,
and we knew that. We knew that. They knew that. And not one of them, neither Omid nor Carolyn, has come out and said, well, hold on a minute. Let's give this book some perspective. Let's give it some context. We wrote the book. We've told you time and time again, they did not contribute. But as royal reporters, this is what we have been party to. That's what this needs right now. It needs their perspective. It needs them to give it some context. And they've not done that. Instead, they've done what everyone else has done. They've basically profited off the backs and the names of Harry and Meghan in particular, and hung her out to dry. Now, yes, that
was my whole point. No, that's my whole point of what I said in the beginning, is that the press pack have aimed. You might think that Omid and the other one got a bit of fire, but they haven't. It's all Meghan, and she's not the author of this book. She's not the author of this book.
But also,
aiming.
I have seen, especially on Twitter, I have seen the comments that have been aimed at Omid. So I'm not saying that he has got off lightly. What I'm saying is that he's not even defending his work, and neither is she. I mean, this Carolyn woman, have we even seen her? Yeah, we know who she is, but she hasn't said anything about the book. She's neither defended nor denied. She's done nothing. It's almost like it's almost like her name is on. But it's almost like her name is on the cover, but that's it. Her name's on the cover. She'll collect the coins, and that's it. Whereas
that's their job. That's what they do.
But Omid, at least prior to this, has been promoting the book. He's been talking about the book. He's been sharing his journey with the book, like when they recorded the audio and all that stuff. She has done none of that. And I'm not saying that she even has to, but what my point that I'm making is that she's as good as a ghostwriter in my eyes, because she's just not been present, right? True. She's not been present at all. But the other point that I'm making about the book is that they have done what everybody else has done. They just put this book out there and have left Meghan to the wolves. And some people, I've brought this up with some squaddies, and some squaddies are saying, yeah, but the book's not being released until the 11th of August. They're going to do all their press then. Let me tell you, colon cancer, she was on every settee, right? She was on every settee, every podcast, wherever she could get herself booked, she was on there talking about her book from before it even came on. And my final point about the book, because I do have another point regarding Harry and Meghan and themselves as well. But my final point about the book is that this, as Nelly said already, this is one of many books that have been written about Harry and Meghan. One of many. And the palace did not take off their knickers for those books. However, now we've got their underwear flowing in the wind because they're so panicking about what's coming out. They are dirty, nasty, racist, xenophobic, misogynistic, archaic institution. They were never, ever going to welcome that woman. Never. Yeah. Their plan for Harry that they had for Harry is messed up. I wouldn't be surprised if Harry has actually uncovered information since he's been with Meghan about his mum, about his dad, about the institution, that has made him think, hell, we are getting out of here. My child ain't growing up in this thing. But my other point as well regarding Harry and Meghan, I do have a concern. I'm always going to support them no matter what, because I feel a real affinity for them. However, I do feel that in this current climate, and also for them moving forward, which we'll talk about in their legacy, I do feel that they would really benefit from a very strong communications team right now. And it's not about them having to come out and explain and defend, but they do need to be able to really craft and embed their brand and their brand values and how they're going to move forward and how they're going to deal with this stuff. Because whether they like it or not, they're global superstars. People want to hear from them. People want to know, how are they doing? And they need a strong communications team to be able to help them through that. I'm not saying to go all guns blazing PR strategy, because we've seen what happens. Like I said, we've got Willie and Will Not, who, their PR, I mean, it's all over the place. But they do need a strong communication strategy. And there endeth the rant.
Well, my issue with the whole thing is, I do think it's a smear campaign against Meghan and Harry. I do feel that there are things in that book that are basically, in my opinion, true. And you're right about the palace. They're shitting themselves, because they're not only are they bad, they look bad. And so they are literally trotting out all their little minions to say that Meghan and Harry are this and that, and the devil, and you name it, that's what they are. But what I found particularly interesting was I saw a piece in, where was I? The Daily Mail. I was on the Daily Mail. I don't know why I was on the Daily Mail, but I got there.
Dear God, why?
I don't know. I got there somehow.
Why would you do that to yourself?
No, I got there somehow. I was going down that Google hole and clicking on things. I got there. And one article got me, and I thought, and this is what this is all about. Some so-called journalists said that the Sussexes have burnt their bridges and they can never come back to the palace. And then they changed it.
They were ever coming back.
Hang on, I finished it. And they changed it, and they said, Harry could come back. It would be forgiven for Harry to come back. But for Meghan, no, it's all over. And I thought, and that is what this is all about. The press do not want that woman back. Sorry, I'm saying it like that. They don't want Meghan back. This is what this is all about. And that's what got me mad, because I was like, you're saying the quiet bit out loud.
Oh, you're
that brazen. You're that brazen that you honestly think you're going to get away with it. Well, in the stupid insular UK, insular England, or in the insular establishment, you might be able to get away with it. But as you said, they're a global couple. Are you that dumb, bruv? Are you that dumb to say that? Do you get me? And I was
Yeah.
like, it got me mad, and it made me laugh because that's when I thought they're never coming back. They're never
But they were
coming
never
back.
coming back anyway.
I know, but
look,
they're
when
never
they
they are
closed
never
that
coming
door,
back. They're never
when
coming
they
back,
look,
and they are going to be a success in whatever they do, wherever they live, and that's going to stick in this lot's craw for the rest of their lives.
because, and this is the
That's
issue
it.
here. The issue here is that Meghan and Harry, and the thing is, they made Meghan and Harry into this, right?
Yes.
If
They
they had
did.
just let,
Yes.
they created this. The
Yes.
media and the establishment created this. If they had just let them do what they were doing, you know, they would be Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan, and they would be here in the UK doing their patronages, and they'd be fine. But they created this worldwide furore, okay, themselves, this worldwide explosion of this couple onto the global stage that everybody now wants to know, what the hell are they talking about over there? Who are they? What are they doing?
Mm-hmm.
To now, no matter what they do now, Meghan and Harry will always eclipse the whole royal family, not just, you know, Kmart and Walmart, but everyone. They're all going to be, you know, no one's going to be interested in what, I mean, we're not interested now. And that's a bit of a false economy. People think that before Meghan came along, we were interested. We weren't interested then.
Nope.
Nobody cared.
Nobody cared. No one, you know, we all knew about Waity Katie. We knew that she flashed her bum, you know, at a moment's notice. That was her party piece. We knew that. And we accepted it and we let them carry on. We knew that William was going to be the community dick like his dad, and we accepted that because that's part and parcel of the royal family. That's what they do. But then Meghan came along and was like, oh, hold on a minute. She doesn't look like the rest of them. And hold on, this is a woman with an accomplished past. This is a woman who has achieved. This is a woman who knows who she is, what she's about, and what she wants to do. This is a woman that is already having serious impact even before Harry. Harry told you. He said it. I had to step up my game. Harry told us. So why everyone has decided to ignore all this and reinvent? Look, I've worked in the media practically all my entire life, which is over 30 years. I've been around the press. I've been around TV, film, video set. Let me tell you, if there was anything, even if that woman looked at somebody the wrong way, everybody would have known before she dated Harry. From the moment her name was linked on Harry, everybody would be out saying that she's this, she's that, she's the other. That's not the case.
And we've heard nothing. We've heard
nothing. As we know, what we do now know, how many years down the line, is that the press have paid people to talk about her in a negative way. They've offered people money to say they've slept with her. They've offered people money to say that she looked at them the wrong way. You know, Andrew Morton, who went and ensconced himself in the US and Canada for how long to find people. He put out adverts for people to come to him with information because he wanted to write a book on her. Nothing. He said not one single person came forward. Not one. But they want us to believe that this woman, I just literally saw a headline in Grazia Daily that said Meghan Markle doesn't have a magic vagina. What the fuck? What, I mean, who
says that?
Who have you ever heard? Anyone in the royal family? When have you heard their vagina ever been referenced?
Well, someone's been reading our tweets, or at least has been reading trolls' tweets.
Rice. Yeah, about the rice.
Yeah,
right,
about the rice.
Which was so funny. But
God.
This is the headline in Grazia Daily. Meghan Markle doesn't have a magic vagina. You're just being sexist and racist. Now, from that headline, it seems like it's you know, like it's a pro Meghan article. However, it is written by Rhiannon Evans, so pinch of salt. But you know, even so,
it's just so disrespectful.
It's so disrespectful. Why is this even allowed?
Exactly.
Positive or not, this should not be allowed. This narrative should not even be entertained by anyone. This is why I say that they need a good, strong communication strategy. They need to have a team that shuts that stuff down straight away, right?
Yeah.
They need.
Yeah, I agree.
I know they've got spokespeople, but they need to be more proactive. And I know that there are some squaddies who may even be listening to this now who would agree with that. Because yes, we support them. I mean, crumbs, we've just raised 40 grand in 4 days for CamFed. So, of course, of course we support them and we'll continue to. But we also want to see them really stand up for themselves, really say, look, we're not going to be your punching bags anymore. And this is how we fight back.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree with you. I can't deny it.
Totally agree with that. Yep.
But but I just, it's just these last 4 days, seeing the crap in the papers and whatever.
Yep.
And it made me mad to start with. Then it made me laugh because I see desperation. I can smell the desperation of the UK press. They're so desperate to paint these people as bad. They don't realize they're making themselves look stupid. They look pathetic. Because if they're so irrelevant, if Meghan and Harry are so irrelevant, why are you writing about them?
Why are you still talking about them?
But constantly, it's not like the odd article appears maybe once or twice a week. Every single day, multiple articles. Look, we had Bee's wedding, right? we had the rollout from the crypt, right? Right. We did. We had the rollout from the crypt, right? We had a birthday. Didn't one of these royal children or someone have a birthday recently? Right, we've had a birthday, right? We had the bloody drawing room curtains going out doing an event at one stage. Wasn't she talking to someone about, Right,
and not to mention, someone raised Philip from the dead to do an engagement.
That's what we said. The rollout from the crypt.
The rollout from the crypt. So we've had all of that. We've had all of that. We've got the scandal still in the background of Andy and his hand. The non-sweating prince, bless him.
Yeah.
Right. Let me tell you.
When that comes out.
Trust me, that's not the one.
Is it?
It's big.
Yeah.
Let me watch the one that's coming. The one that's coming up behind that, right? I can't even say the name, right? But all I will say is he's the Queen's nephew. That's what I will say. Watch that one.
Yeah.
Oh, right? Okay.
Watch that one. Right. So all that stuff is brewing. It's got to be hidden. It's got to be hidden. So of course Meghan's an easy target, isn't she?
She's a deflection.
She's an easy she's an easy target. And with all of that going on that they could be losing themselves in, they're writing about Harry and Meghan.
Who don't even live in the country. They don't even live here.
They don't even live here. They turned their back. Let me tell you, see when they handed them keys to Frogmore, they knew. You know what? Come take your keys. We gone. They weren't coming back. They weren't coming back. And why should they? Why should they?
They'll come back when it suits them to visit, and then they'll go about their business.
Exactly, when they need to. And people are saying, "Oh, but they're now what is it? They're now litigious. They're libel happy. So what? You expect people to be able to talk about them in a litigious manner, take pictures where they're cutting holes in fence, take pictures of their son, and then not say or do anything. Her dad is back out,
Oh,
no, was it you called bad dad?
Yeah, bad dad,
bad dad's out.
Oh God,
Bad dad's back out, spouting his rubbish about, this is the bad time for them to be whining. Look, you need to just give it up now, bad dad. You've had your money. Yeah, you've had your money.
Because he's going to take his ass taken into court and be made a fool out of. So he needs to shut up now.
Money. Exactly. Just needs to. Him and Hot Wheels just need to just forget it. Judas and Jezebel, as someone called them the other day.
That's a good one. Good.
Judas and Jezebel. That did make me laugh.
Yeah.
So no. There's two. They are. They're the superstars of the family. And what family? And this is the other thing. Everyone keeps going on. I think the sooner people get into their head that the royal family, are not your average normal expectation of family. So you might look around your family and see, parents, grandparents, uncles, aunties, cousins, and you get together occasionally, and you might have the odd fallout and argument, but at the end of the day, blood's thicker than water. You might be that kind of family. That's not the royal family. The benefit of living here and witnessing this firsthand from birth is that we know, because whilst Harry and Meghan may have catapulted the royal family onto the royal stage now, and people are now just waking up to their antics, we've grown up with this. We remember the scandal. Well, I certainly remember the scandal. I can remember my dad telling me about the scandal in the 50s when the Queen wouldn't let Margaret marry Peter Townsend because he was he was a divorcee. He was married at the time, but was ultimately a divorcee. She ended up marrying Lord Snowdon, right? Who was quite openly very bohemian, let's say, in his lifestyle.
Oh, shame.
Very bohemian. I can remember very early on in the 70s opening the papers, the News of the World or whatever, and seeing Prince Margaret lying, half naked on the Mystique Beach with Roddy Llewellyn, the guard. Yeah, Roddy Llewellyn, the gardener, as he was, who was like 20 years younger than her. This is not new. So they're carrying on like they're some paragon of virtue, and this black bitch has come in and upset the whole apple cart. No, they were bad from morning. They were bad from morning. They've always been a family of scandal. They've never been a tight family. Blood is not thicker than water. The crown, right, is what dictates their behaviour. That's what it's about. It's the damn crown. Forget blood. It's all about that crown, and it's all about who can get as close to that crown as possible. Right? It's a nonsense.
I don't know. It's just as I said, I find it quite amusing now because they're desperate. That's the press, that is.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm not getting angry anymore. When I see headlines, I read the headline, I just think, whatever that says, the opposite is true.
Oh yeah.
I don't pay any attention to it at all because it's just smacks of desperation, and it's like article after article after article is just slagging. It's just literally slagging them off, and it's like, why? You don't need to do that. All you need to say is the book's load of shit. The book's shit. Don't believe a word. It's not that important. I'm not going to write about it. But the more you hype it up and the more desperate you get, you sit there and think, really, I want to read this book now. I want to see what's in it because, why are you so desperate? What are you afraid of? What's in there? So that's why I'm like, okay, wait till the book comes out. I'll get me a copy and I'll see what's going on. And then we'll go from there. But I'm not mad anymore. I'm just amused now. It just makes me laugh now. But I don't like the way Meghan and Harry are being treated. And journalists, they get the 30 pieces of silver. I don't care where they get it from. That's the way they are, isn't it?
But then they're not journalists. They're literally an arm of the they're literally propaganda wing for the royal family, or extended PR.
Yeah, unless you know how they behave and not to believe a word they say, because they are getting their copy from the royal family, their communications team. Unless you, as you said, unless you've grown up here and know them, you now know not to believe a word they say. They are propaganda. You're absolutely right, and I don't have time for them anymore. Never really did.
And and the thing is, as well, is that whilst I agree, we all know it's rubbish. We know it's propaganda, right wing, narrative. We know that. But you see, for me, what really sticks in my craw is that there are people who, as I say all the time, and Nelly and I have had many conversations whilst we've been off air, we are in it. We see what happens every day. So we're different. But there are some people who only get their news from
these tabloids,
from the tabloids, from the news, and that's all they know. So when those people come into our space and they want to spout about Meghan, I now have a blanket rule: nobody, or seriously nobody, talk to me about Meghan. I don't want to know. Like, I don't, unless they're going to talk to me from a perspective of information and education, then I'm not interested, because all they're going to come and say to me is, oh my God, did you see what was in the Daily Mail? Meghan did this and Meghan did that. And did you know that Meghan's got Harry be rich because she boils rice between her legs? I'm not interested. I'm not interested.
But
right?
my thing is, I don't argue with people anymore. I just drop some facts on them.
Block.
Just drops. No, don't block them. I just drop a few little facts on them. I don't argue with them. I say my piece and move on.
That's the thing with the facts, because they're so attached to the popular narrative that I just don't talk about it. If people say to me, Gayle, no, seriously, why do you support Meghan? Then I can have that conversation. So, for instance, the whole Black Lives Matter thing, as we know, exploded a couple of months ago. I was asked to participate in an interview to explore, the Black experience, because suddenly people have realised I'm Black, and I think, oh, okay, it's only taken me 54. It's only taken you 54 years, but fair enough, right? So we were having conversations about that, and I said, what? And this is what really gets to me, because you've got people who will say that they're really, pro Black Lives Matter. They want to understand, and they want to educate themselves, and that, we've got companies approaching us. I've got more companies and organizations approaching me now than ever, wanting to talk about diversity and inclusion and how, to enhance their communications around that whole topic. But yet still you will listen to and push a narrative about a woman of color. No matter how you slice it, there was a woman of color in the royal family who had to leave because she was persecuted out.
Yes.
There is no, you cannot cut and slice that any other way. She didn't get vexed one day and get up and walk out. She was persecuted out. Her son, literally a day after his birth, was compared to a chimpanzee by a national DJ, right? On the national TV station, the BBC. And the royal family said nothing. And then he was reinstated, which makes it even worse. And the royal family said nothing. So you tell me, how can you be pro Black Lives Matter? How can you really want to, be a part of the change and transformation and say that Britain is an inclusive society? If that's what you do to Meghan Markle, who was an achieved and accomplished person before her marriage, then became the Duchess of Sussex. What the hell are you going to do to me, little old Gayle Edwards from London? What the hell are you going to do to me? What are you going to do to my daughter?
No, you're
absolutely right. You can't deny it. I think that we should end that there, because I think this is a perfect time to move on to the second point, which is about Meghan and her legacy and her work in the royal family, and basically what's going to happen with her patronages and what's next for them, that sort of thing. I think we should, first of all talk about how what about her impact on the royal family and her way she worked, and then we'll talk about the charity she's involved with and what's next for them, because I think that's quite important, because she is no longer based in the UK, and it must be difficult for them, because you've got your patron in the US basically forging a new life, but she still wants to. I'm not running her down or anything, but they must not have anticipated that happening so quickly. If you know what I mean. Okay. So what do you think, ladies?
Okay, well, to think about, I think in time, I think she'll lose one or two of them. The one I think she'll lose is definitely the National Theatre. Because that is something that they do. The National Theatre is, indeed an organisation or an association that, needs and relies on sort of a royal patronage. It always has done, because whether you like it or not, the royals have always been attached to the acting world and theatre and films and things like that. I mean, William is the fucking president of BAFTA. So so National Theatre, I think she's most likely to use, and I'm really sad about that, because obviously she herself was an actress, and this was something that was, I was so happy that she got that the Queen handed that patronage to her, because obviously it's to link her to her old occupation, and I think she would have done great wonders with it had she been given the time. I think the likes of SmartWorks, I think she'll still keep that, because she is the essence of that. She was, before she was a royal, she was a working woman. In obviously acting is seen as a glamorous job. It fucking isn't, because as you know, most actors, especially ones that don't necessarily make it, they have to do a side, one or two side jobs. So she knows. So she knows. She knows the hustle, and I think with that patronage, and obviously her work with the women of Hub Kitchen, I think those definitely put her in touch with the common woman, especially the minority women in this country. When you think of the Grenfell with the Hub women, 80 and the victims of Grenfell, in which 85% of the people that were killed at Grenfell were non-white. And then for her to sort of help out, help with raising money for that kitchen to be open 7 days a week, and how it's now it's a big part of that area's life, because the women are doing outstanding things, delivering meals to hospices and hospitals during COVID. It's been wonderful to see, and that's down to Meghan. That's down to her inspiring these women. That cookbook was a lifeline for them, and that and like I said, I don't think no other royal has done has touched the minority communities of this country like she has. Others have tried, but she definitely has, and that's because she herself is a minority and can relate. And also an immigrant, well, was an immigrant, but, temporarily was an immigrant. And she was able to relate to those women, and in a small way, their experience. And she herself said that she felt so at home with the Hub women in London. She really got on with them, and it's really sad that I do see that she might lose one of those patronages, and I think the most likely is the National Theatre, just because it's that kind of thing. It's definitely one that they definitely want a royal patron. But the others, I think they'll be more than happy to keep her on, because she's got great ideas, and as you can see, especially with SmartWorks and the Smart Set collection, how well that did. I think it's just it's a shame that we will never, her potential was underestimated, and was sabotaged by the media, and of course the royal household. And I'll be forever, excuse my language, fucked off about that, because
I don't think that she was underestimated. I think that she was just purely sabotaged. I think that their attitude was that, who are you? Who are you? This coming in and showing us that who do you think you are? And then when it actually was successful, especially the Smart Set was so successful, they're so bitter about it. Jesus, and it was like, rather than saying, congratulations, that was brilliant, well done. Could you give us some tips on how we could do it?
Exactly, or even wear some of the damn clothes. But Kate. Oh God, let's give her a full title: Kate, Duchess of Cambridge. Anyhow,
Cambridge, yeah.
Can you imagine if she had just turned up in the pair of those black trousers and a white shirt? If she'd just even worn the jacket.
But she would never do
could,
that because
of
she's
course
got
she
no.
wouldn't.
She's too
Look,
inflated.
well, not
Her
only
ego's too
that,
inflated.
you know what? We're not wasting our time talking about her.
True.
We've got a lot to talk about, and we can't waste it on her. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know, I think everyone knows exactly how we feel about her. In terms of Meghan's patronages, I agree with Nelly to an extent. However, I do think she's going to lose National Theatre for some reason, because remember, the National Theatre is actually called the Royal National Theatre, but they prefer to be known as the National Theatre.
Yeah.
So because of that alone, you know, she stepped back from the royal family. She's not a senior member. I think that alone is what will lose it. However, I do have another thought around Meghan's patronages, is that she has been a breath of fresh air. She has come in and literally, she's a disruptor. She has disrupted the way that royals do patronages. She has disrupted the way they do charity. And that makes her stand apart from everybody else, first and foremost. But also what that does, it means that those charities that have been working with her have now experienced something different. So for them to go back to what was is going to be difficult. Now, what I love about Meghan's charities and her patronages, with the exception of the National Theatre, because to be honest, I don't know that much about that particular patronage, but what I do like is that they have all completely embraced how she works, and they are all, you know, they are all stable enough now to be able to say, actually, no, we don't want a royal patronage. We're going to now. So if it came to it, if the royal family got really petty, which we know they're capable of, and they said, right, you can't have any of them. Remember, every single one of those charities, because they haven't got royal warrants, so they are within their rights to be able to say, you know what, we don't actually want one. We're okay. Meghan, we would like you to be our patron, because you don't have to be royal to be a patron, as we know.
That's true.
Right? Yeah, you don't have to be royal to be a patron. So
Yeah.
She is royal, though. She is royal.
She is royal, okay.
She's not a working royal, but she is royal.
Right, exactly. But remember, the power is, what I'm trying to say is that the power is also with the charities. SmartWorks, even Mayhew, Luminary Bakery. I know they're not an official patronage. However, I wouldn't be surprised if any of those hub turn around and say, well, we're working with Harry and Meghan. We don't actually need a royal patron, thanks, in the way that you want us to, or in the way that you can offer. No, thank you. We're okay with what we've got. Right. So I wouldn't be surprised, because from their experience, it's going to be, I mean, Dumbo, was it someone said about her the other day? Imagine that you're on a Zoom with your patronage, and they turn around and say, oh, we haven't seen you in 8 years.
Oh, shame.
Yeah.
Oh, shame.
I mean, you couldn't make it up.
Oh, God.
You couldn't make it up.
Yeah, and
Right.
here was a. Did you also see that article about how it was an article, and it was by someone who a journalist with some cred, I believe, but basically saying that charities that have royal patronages,
they don't do very well.
They don't do very well.
Yeah.
So
she did a whole research. If to all our listeners out there, okay, if you're listening to this and you're thinking, oh, these women don't know what they're talking about, they're just Meghan Sugars. That's what the Rangers call us. They call us Meghan Sugars.
Derangers.
Derangers. Yeah, don't listen to us. Go and do your research. Go and get the research that this lady did, this journalist did, where she literally went through every single royal patron, apart from, she couldn't really do a big expose on Meghan because of the time scale. Meghan hadn't yet taken on what she's got. So so it's a bit limited regarding Meghan. But look at the impact that having a royal patron has on those charities and what they actually do. Jack shit is the answer, I'm afraid. I'm really sorry to put it so bluntly, but that's what it is.
That's because they just turned up, though, isn't it? They just turn up and cut ribbons. They don't do anything.
They literally turn up and cut ribbons and open new centres, before they closed a couple of years later. It really is fascinating, and you're thinking to yourself, why are these people why are we maintaining these people who are clearly shit at charity work, and we're maintaining this lifestyle for them to cut ribbons?
You know what Meghan has done, and what Meghan has inspired even those of us who support her. Meghan has shown how to be self-sufficient. That's what she's done. She's shown these charities how to work for themselves so they can sustain themselves. And she's inspired us that support her, the Sussex squad, to do the same. Hence why we've been able to raise £40,000 in 4 days. 4 days, and we haven't even started yet. We've still got until Harry's birthday to go in September. So it's just, that is the essence of who she is. And when you have that kind of impact, and you have to remember, die-hard royalists are dying. They are literally dying, because they're an older generation. Then you've got my generation, who are like the 50s generation, who we've grown up with the royals, and some of us, depending on your cultural background, some of us will have an affinity and kind of think, well, yeah, a bit of respect for them, and some of us are like, couldn't give a shit, not interested. And then you've got some people like me who had a healthy respect for them, but over the years, especially since Diana, has seen what they're capable of, and like, no way, girl, run as fast as you can, but then below that 50 and younger, like you guys, you couldn't give a shit about the world. My daughter, do you know what my daughter thought? My daughter thought that Charles was the Queen's husband.
Oh, bless.
Right.
Yeah.
She did. She thought she's not interested in the royal family. The only royal that Michaela knows is Meghan and Harry.
Yeah.
Meghan and Harry, and that's it for. And that's the thing with our generation. And Archie. That's the thing with this generation. I mean, you couldn't. No one could. I mean, this. I don't know what they call this group. What your daughter is. Gen Y. Zoomers.
No, they're Gen Z.
The Zoomers. The Zoomer generation.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Zoomers.
Well, okay. Right. So of course they're not going to, because obviously these people, your daughter did not grow up with didn't have Diana in her memory.
No, she
don't know who she is. They don't even know who she is.
Exactly. No. So as far as they're concerned, what are the royal family? Except for Will and Kate. Of course, we know at some point William and Kate are going to be, future.
Who wants them?
No one wants them, because
the people that want them are going to be dead by the time they get to that. They're going to be dead. The people who are really cheering and saying, yeah, she's going to be queen, and Meghan's going to have to curtsy to her. Like, Meghan cares, and that is one thing that does make me laugh when I see that on social media. Yeah, well, Meghan's going to have to curtsy to Kate. Really? You think Meghan cares about that? Really? Do you really think? Nobody worth their salt would care about something like that. Even if you were the one being curtsy to. How many times have we seen Meghan, when people have met her since she became a duchess, they've gone to either curtsy or back, and she has literally picked them up and said, no, I'm Meghan.
Yeah.
It's not her thing. It's outdated. It's archaic. We don't worship people like that anymore. Because the moment you have people that you place in a position of worship, that means that there are people who are placed in a position of victim. Right? It's the opposite end. You've got the worshippers, and then you've got the victims. You've got the slaves, the serfs, the peasants. Call them whatever you want. And this country, I don't know what the hell's going on here, but for some reason, ever since Brexit, my mind boggles how we can go from 2012 Olympics, where we had a genuine sense of unity and cohesion, real togetherness. The country was all, we were all together celebrating and cheering on 2012. What we put on for Olympics was amazing. And then 4 years later, in 2016, we had the bollocks. That's what it is, the bollocks of Brexit. And from then, it's been a shambles ever since.
Yeah,
an absolute shambles.
It's because because they're trying to the so-called government that we have. It's almost like they're trying to go back to the 1950s.
I think that's exactly it.
That's exactly
and like, what happened if you? in the UK in the 1950s, this was a war-torn, excuse my language, shitty country.
Yeah.
They couldn't get it to work. And you know what? They had to go to the Commonwealth, to the Caribbean, to India, to Pakistan, to get people to come over to fix their country.
Yeah.
And they got the damn cheek now to say, oh, you don't belong here. Fuck them. They're disgusting.
Yeah.
They're disgusting. How in God's... my mum said to me, when she came over here, she said that when she went to school, she did nothing for a year because she was so far ahead of the kids in the school. But she came from the Caribbean and is supposed to be stupid, but she was streaks ahead of the kids in the school. And these people have got the damn cheek to say that immigrants are stupid, are lesser than them. They're disgraceful.
It's going to happen again. It's going to happen again because we've got Brexit looming, right? And with Brexit, we're going to lose a lot of the Europeans. We're going to lose a lot of people.
We've lost them already.
Telling you that those jobs that those people were doing, which British indigenous person is going to take those jobs? We saw it even in the summer, recent weeks. The fruits were basically rotting on the vines and on the trees and in the ground because nobody would pick them. Because the workers who normally come from Europe that would do those jobs, they couldn't travel because of COVID anyway. But also we've got restrictions now, and that's only going to get worse by the end of the year when we're fully out of Europe. That's going to get worse, and all of this is the backdrop to what is happening with Meghan. So Meghan is not just Harry's wife. She's not just the biracial woman that he married and that he fell in love with and married. She is a symbol of the xenophobia that this country is currently suffering from, because for some reason we have an inflated sense of self here in the UK, right? We really do. We think we're going to be okay. Because we're British, really? You think that bozo is going to really help you?
We're British. We won 2 world wars, and we're in the middle of another one. I'm like, shut up.
Let me tell you, that bozo is not going to help you. He's no Churchill, and even if he was, go and investigate and educate yourself about who Churchill really was. Forget this war hero, man. Go and investigate who he really was, and then tell me.
There was a reason why people were attacking his flipping statue.
Yes. Because it says exactly who he is.
Yeah. That's another. That we could do that on another episode. Talk about.
That's you know what? I think that people should actually look at the history of Churchill for themselves, because if we say it, we just get accused of stuff. They need to actually go and research and look at Churchill for himself. Yes, he may have been a great wartime leader, but dig deeper. Yeah, he ain't no hero of mine. Let's put it that way.
Exactly. But no, put it this way: he's no hero of mine. But just remember that what he did, the Queen was complicit, right? She knew. The Queen knew, right? Also, and that's why I don't buy into this sweet little old granny. Yeah, she might be 90, 100, whatever it is she is now. But let me tell you, that woman is as tough as old boots. She's as hard as nails, right? She's tougher than Sharon from the council estate, let me tell you, right? That woman, and that's why they wanted to cover up the letters. You see the letters that have just been released about the Australian governor? Yeah, they wanted to cover it up because they know what she's like. And when they try and give this thing about, it's her courtiers. She's not daft. Like the way they're carrying on is like the woman, it's like she's in, what was that bird box? Do you remember that thing that was on that program
on Netflix,
that was on Netflix,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, with Sandra Bullock with the blindfold. That's what they're trying to make out. That's not the Queen.
No,
that's not the Queen. That is not the Queen. She fully knows what's going on. She puts her signature and her name to what is going on. She knew what Churchill was up to, just like she knew what was going on with the governor. She knew, and she knows what's going on now with Meghan and Harry. She's no dumbass. So anyone that thinks that she is, and oh, sweet little old granny, just remember this is the same sweet little old granny that when his mum died, where was she? Yeah, she might have been with the boys, but where was she with her country? She had to be bullied, literally, to come out of the palace and say something.
Yeah,
the word is shamed.
She was shamed.
I'll tell you what. You know what. I'm going to I'm going to defend Betty here. I think for me that you could blame Dickie Arbiter and her press and her courtiers for that. What should have happened is that she should have dressed up in black, stroll out of Balmoral, speak to the camera, speak to the nation, and say, yes, I know you're all suffering. This is awful, but I'm going to stay up here with my boys. I think people would have been a little bit, if she had given the speech.
But she didn't even have to do that. She didn't even have to do that. She just all she had to do was release statements every day, and just say she had to say was, we're in mourning. My grandchildren have lost their mother. We're in mourning,
and they need me. And that's it.
And every day I will just set out a little statement saying, the boys are doing fine. Blah blah blah. Just a little update. No big thing. She didn't need to come out. But they're too stubborn and too stuck in their own ways.
Yeah, even if she just like Nelly says, statement from Balmoral. She didn't even need to have to leave the castle. She didn't have to come to London.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
She could have just made a quick little statement and that was it. But she had to be shamed and bullied out of that damn castle, right? And all this business about but we only fly the flag or we only lower the flag for dignitary. Let me tell you, that woman gave her life for the royal family. And that's why I don't understand anybody. I get young people because they didn't know Diana. They didn't know the story, right? But I don't know I cannot understand anybody that lived through the Diana years that knew the real truth of what was going on, that saw and heard Charles say he wanted to be another woman's tampon whilst he was married to Diana. How do you hear and listen to that, know what's going on, know about her death, and then tell me that you're really supporting this family? Because everything Diana said in that Martin Bashir documentary is no different to what is going on now. She talks about the men in grey suits, right? And even Andrew Morton himself said, you can just substitute Diana's name for Meghan's name and it's exactly the same situation.
Yep.
It's deja vu. And it is. It's deja vu. So if people that don't believe it, it's because they don't want to believe it. So you go ahead, you stick your head in the sand, do your ostrich thing, do your sheep thing, and when you finally get your head out in 2-3 years' time, look around you and do not complain about the devastation that you see because you created it, because you were not active, you were complicit. And that's why those of us who can absolutely must, we owe it not just to ourselves but to our children and to our own legacies. We absolutely have to speak out about this because it's awful what's going on with Meghan, but to be honest, it's not about Meghan. It's about every single person that has a shade darker skin, because we know what's coming for us. So that's why we have to speak out. Sorry, I got on my soapbox there. I'm sorry.
No, excellent.
No, I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry at all.
Don't be sorry.
Don't be, because it's true. Anyway, I think on that note, I think we should finish for today. Okay, so that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you to my wonderful co-host for joining me, and I hope that you've enjoyed it as much as I have. Don't forget to send in questions and/or topics that you'd like to have discussed on future episodes. If you'd like to be a guest panelist on the podcast, please reach out to me at hello@aduchesslikeus.com on email or DM me at duchessus on Twitter. If you've liked what you've heard today, please hit that like button and subscribe to the podcast. And also, please share this podcast with anyone you think would be interested in listening to it. If you have time, I'd be grateful if you could leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, which used to be iTunes, as it helps more people see the podcast. I really hope that you've enjoyed this episode and that you'll come back for more. So I'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.